Hello friends, Coach Miller Light here. Today's show brought to you by Mary's Miracle, Saturday night. Fresh breath. You ever want fresh breath? And fresh breath that is actually healthy for you, that has all ingredients that serve you, that not only give you fresh breath, but actually help your human being. That's Saturday night. All right, so I was listening to Abraham today and writing down what I heard. So they're talking about this vortex. I heard some very interesting information that I'm super excited to understand better and live, which is why I'm doing the show. I believe that when the information comes through me, I understand it at a better level, and I choose to live this information, be a living example of someone who's in the vortex. So that's what Abraham started off saying, was about being in the vortex, and that all our good is in the vortex. So first we have to decide to know what is this vortex that they speak of. And good news is I heard another Abraham where they gave a straight up definition of the vortex, and you know it, I wrote it down. Okay, so the vortex that Abraham talks about. What is this vortex? A vortex is a vibrational state of being that is a precursor to all of the positive motion forward of all that is. Well, I didn't feel like that cleared things up much unless we really go in and dissect that, but fortunately they got a lot simpler as we go on. It's like encapsulated, condensed, straight up source. So the vortex is encapsulated, condensed, straight up source. It's pure positive energy. It's the holding tank. It's the anchor. It's the touchstone. It's the place where all dreams and wishes and hopes are held until we find vibrational alignment with them. Sounds like it's Disneyland. Disneyland's in the vortex. It's the eternal pool of well-being to which each of us have added mightily along the path of our physical existence. Okay, so what is it? It's the holding tank, right? It's the vibrational holding tank. It's the anchor. It's the touchstone. It's the place where all dreams and wishes and hopes are held until we find vibrational alignment with them. Well, pretty nice thing to have a vortex, to hold them for us until I find vibrational alignment with it. It's the eternal pool of well-being, okay? The eternal pool of well-being to which each of us have added mightily along the path of our physical experience. So we're adding to the eternal pool of well-being, which is also known as the vortex. This vortex is a reality even though you can't see it, but you can feel it. You can feel it. And that's what the other passage is about. All right, so now we know what the vortex is. It's straight up, encapsulated, condensed source, the touchstone, the holding tank. It's where all dreams and wishes go. They're held there until we find vibrational alignment with them. And all of us have added to this vortex along the path of our physical existence. We've added mightily to it. All our dreams and wishes are in it. Of course, that's where I choose to be, right? And even though I can't see it, it is a reality. And though I can't see it, I can feel it. All right, so this is from Abraham on YouTube. I heard it and it was so good, I had to write it down. I actually wrote it down twice, it was so good. Okay, so they say there is enough in your vortex to keep you thriving for 20 to 30 lifetimes, right? So what are we covering? That this vortex is where our dreams, wishes, hopes, all the things that we choose, all of it is in there. There's enough in there to have us thriving for 20 to 30 lifetimes. Okay, that's a lot. That's how dynamic it is. Now, how do you get some of it? Very good question. How do we get some of it? How do we make a withdrawal from the vortex? How do we align with what's in the vortex, as the vortex is the holding tank? All right, here we go. Well, you got to tune your tuner to that frequency of what your inner being is broadcasting. Okay, so I have to tune my tuner, right? My tuner to the frequency that my inner being is broadcasting, because where's my inner being broadcasting from? The vortex. That's where the broadcasting comes from, the vortex, which is what we're calling the receptive mode. So I have to be in the receptive mode of my inner being. You got to get in the receptive mode. You got to think like your inner being thinks. You can't be blaming. Okay, so I like a good little rule system, right? Some basic things that I can just roll out. 1, blame. Okay, if I want to be in the vortex, if I choose to make a withdrawal, if I choose to align with just a little bit even of what's in that vortex that has 20 to 30 lifetimes of thriving in it, can you imagine the amazingness? Well, one thing I cannot do, off the list, blame. Blame anybody. No blame. Blaming is not the frequency of my inner being. What's Abraham say? They said, you got to think like your inner being thinks, right? Because the inner being's in the vortex, and how to make a withdrawal from the vortex is really to align with the vortex, right? To set my tuner to the frequency of the vortex, and blame is the low frequency, right? No, it's not it. So no blame. Now I'm going to catch myself blaming. Well, that's going to be my first step. Actually catching myself and saying, okay, well, look, there I am. I'm blaming. Understandable, right? I'm going on 47 years on this planet, and I'm just starting to make a decision that I'm not going to blame. It might take a minute to take, and it's okay. Make peace with myself, make peace with my process, and then just change it. We have a good tool for this that I really enjoy. It's called pivoting, where I say, all right, here I am, catch myself blaming. Well, that is what I do not want to do. What is it that I do choose? I choose to take responsibility. I choose to get in the game, that life, the way my life is because I chose for it to be that way in the past. It takes time for it all to happen. I choose to take responsibility, not blame. All right, and they said, you can't be focused on the absence of what you want and tune yourself and tune your tuner to what your inner being is broadcasting. It sounds simple, but it's easier said than done. That I can't tune myself. I can't be focused upon what I do not choose. There are words where you can't focus on the absence of what you want and tune your tuner to what your inner being is broadcasting. Why is that? Because what I'm focused on is tuning my tuner, right? So if I'm focusing on absence of that thing I want, not enough money, not enough time, not enough love, not enough energy, well, my inner being's over here broadcasting plenty of time, all the time in the universe. There is no time. There's plenty of money. You have all the money. It's all right here. Love, love, love. We have all the love tuned to us, and you'll know that you are the love. But when I'm thinking absence of it, well, my tuner. Got to pay attention to my tuner. How am I going to do that? Well, Abraham goes on to tell us here. Your inner, okay, I like this point before we get to how about tuning my tuner. I really like this point. They said, your inner being is not going to change its broadcast to match yours ever. Okay, good to know. So my inner being is broadcasting fun, broadcasting happiness, broadcasting abundance, and will never change its broadcast to meet me over in life sucks, nothing is my way, why is it always so hard? It will never come to me. And so the disparity in the tunings causes what? Negative emotion. Did you know it before I said it? Right? But knowing it is a good step, right? It's a good step to actually doing it, which is what I'm choosing, and that's why I'm here. Okay. Your inner being is never going to change its broadcast. I love this statement. Your inner being is going to stand in your prosperity. Your inner being is going to stand in your prosperity. And you got to find a way to be there too. You know, it helps me just knowing, just talking right now, that my inner being is standing in my prosperity, right? And it's broadcasting it to me. Now I got to find a way to be there too. If you're like most people, what you're observing is what's been causing you to set your tuner, right? Makes sense, right? What we're observing, it's very appealing. It's right there. It's visible. It's vibrant. There it is. Life in front of me. All the effects of it. Okay, so this was all about money they were getting to. We could put anything in this category, but I like this topic of money. They said money is the hardest thing because it's the thing you've been worried about for the longest. All right, so we're going to catch up there. Yeah, we are on the next show. Until then, stay tuned.